I didn't turn my light on. Hi guys, hold on. I'm just gonna turn my light on because I just realized I set it up, but I didn't turn it on because I'm special today. Let me just tell you, it's been a day. Okay, there we go. Oh, bless. It has been a day, y'all. Hello, Paul. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. I hope you get to feeling better soon. Hello, Greg. Randy Jameson. Hello, Auntie Ann. Howdy, howdy. Greg. Hello. What's going on? Hello, Couch. I know. Of course, I realized like after I hit go, because it's my brain is not braining today. I'm just not even gonna pretend like it is because it's not. David Glunt, what's happening? Yeah, it's been a day. It's been a day. Well, first of all, in no particular order. In no particular order, because it's just gonna flow out how it flows out. I fell at church. We were doing pantry boxes today, and because it's summertime, normally in the winter we pack them on Sunday nights and then we distribute on Wednesdays. Well, during the summer, we pack them on Wednesday afternoon. The kids go swimming at one of the congregation members who's a friend of ours' house, and then they come back and they do the distribution. So we started this new thing a few months ago where we bring everybody into the FLC who's waiting for a box, and I was walking back to the gym to go make sure my table was set up, and I don't know what happened. Like, people were looking to see if there was water on the floor, because it was like, it must have looked like I slipped on a banana peel. Like, my leg just went out from under me, but like backwards. And so I fell and hit my knee and my shin like on the tile. And I heard everybody, like, because it was loud. Like, I hit the deck hard, and I heard everybody collectively, and there was like 100 people in the room, go, "Are you okay?" So I got up and curtsied, because what else are you gonna do when you make a fool out of yourself in front of everybody? And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine." And meanwhile, my leg was like not fine. I'm sure I'm gonna have a lovely bruise. I haven't checked it in a little bit, but yeah, no bruise yet, but I'm sure it's coming. I'm like one of those people where, like, it'll be sore, but I may not get a visible bruise, but like I will then get a visible bruise from something that I'm like, I don't even know where that came from. That's me. So that happened. And then the numbers, because we have everybody just waiting in the room, people have numbers so we know what order they're in, and the numbers got mixed up because somebody didn't leave church in between, and so people came in like an hour earlier than I normally get there to unlock the door and hand out numbers, and so the numbers were all in the wrong order, and it was chaos, and it was a whole thing. It was a lot. So it was a lot today. Oh, bless. It was a lot today. Leonard Mountain Homestead, what is up? Chris and Amy. Thomas, hello. Mike Birch, what's happening? Yeah, I can feel as I run my hand over it. Yep, it's going to bruise right under my kneecap. It's a little swollen. That's going to be fun. And then I told you guys in Sippin' and Spillin', I ripped my toenail off of my big toe on my other foot, opening the freezer door. All those times people have given me crap about, oh, you shouldn't walk in your animal pens with flip-flops on, or, you know, your horse is going to step on your foot. Yes, she might. But sometimes when I'm filming, I go in there in flip-flops because life. And of all the ways that I could have lost a toenail, I lost it on the freezer door. So I have it like wrapped up because it cracked from like this side all the way down to the quick on the other side. So I basically have it wrapped up. And I put more nail polish on it in the hopes to kind of glue it together so that it'll grow out. Because for the first couple days, I couldn't even get a muck boot on. So when we went to go get some more used the other day, Frankie and I went on Monday. We went on Sunday to get more used. And the guy wasn't there. It was his mom that was there. So she couldn't wrangle them. She just helped close gates. And Frankie came with me, thank goodness, because I was like, I can't get in there and wrangle these sheep because I can't even get a shoe on yet. Like, it had just happened. And I'm like, I can't go in and wrangle these sheep that are not super friendly. Like, they're not mean because they're sheep, but like, anyway, so she, poor thing, she had to wrangle everything. Bless. What's up, the Williamsons? What's happening? Auntie Ann, how are you feeling? I know you were like under the weather, had the vid, all the things. I hope you're feeling better too. I know Paul's down for the count today. Hello, Wanda. Wanda Henry, what's going on? What's crack-a-lackin'? I should have worn my steel-toed Crocs. I don't have steel-toed Crocs. I couldn't even get my Crocs on, guys. Like, I tried to put my Crocs on, and it just that little bit of pressure from the top of the Croc when I tried to walk, I was like, nope, flip-flops it is. So for the first couple days, I just wore flip-flops constantly. So yeah, it's good times. It's good times. But the ironic thing is that I had my pretty Crocs on that are like the little platform sandals, and it raises my foot up just enough that when I was talking to Frankie, as I was opening the door, I wasn't paying attention to where my foot was, and that was how I ripped my toenail off. So go me. I'm just a ball of grace. Let me tell you. Mike always laughs at me because like he'll hear a crash in the house and I'll be like, I'm fine because I've fallen, I've walked into something. Like, and so it's gotten to be a joke of like, I'm very graceful as long as I'm on a dance floor. If I'm not on a dance floor, I will fall down. I will walk into something. It's inevitable. So there's that. You're better today? Okay, that's good. I'm glad you're feeling better today. It's a sign to stop wearing Crocs. Maybe the universe's way to tell me don't wear Crocs. I don't like when I bust my toes. I swear it affects my brain. It does. I can't. There's two things. Like Frankie's heard me say this, I don't know how many times. Like if we get home or if somebody asks me a question, I'm like, I can't think. I have to pee too bad. Like, which is for me about every 5 minutes. Um, so if I have to pee really bad, I can't think, I can't talk to you until I go pee because I can't, my brain won't work. And yeah, same thing if I'm like in too much pain. And then I had a really bad headache all day. I took some Motrin when I got back from church and it subsided. I should have taken it a lot earlier. But after I fell, my headache ramped up, probably because I like shook my brain in my head too much. I probably have a concussion like, and I didn't even hit my head, but I think my brain just kind of sloshed around. I don't know. I'm a hot mess, guys. I'm a hot mess. Um, but yeah. So I gashed my leg open on the dishwasher door once. That was a feat. Oh, I had a bruise at our old house. I have it here, but for some reason, the way that the sink is, it doesn't do it to me. But I have like a dish towel holder that goes on that cabinet door under the sink. And at our old house, it would hit my leg just right. And I couldn't figure out why I had this weird bruise across my leg. And then it dawned on me, it was like this gradual bruise of doing dishes. And I'm like, I got a bruise from doing dishes because the thing was hitting my leg. I didn't even realize it. Special. I'm telling you, I'm special. Yeah. I smashed both my big toes and lost the nails. Now they grow back like a thick, bumpy wad of toenails. See, that's what I don't want. I told Frankie too, I was like, and it's sandal season. I want to be able to wear cute sandals when we go somewhere. Not that we go somewhere that often, but I do tend to live, and it's the California girl in me. I live in flip-flops. My house shoes, unless it's winter, like in the wintertime when it's cold, obviously I wear my fuzzy Crocs and stuff. But in the summer, I live in my flip-flops. Like I have the thick, like good, thick flip-flops and like these, let's see, like these kinds. And I live in these kinds of flip-flops like all the time. So, but when I go out in the yard, I change my shoes and I'll put my muck boots on or whatever. If I'm just, if I'm not going in an animal pen, I might just do whatever. But I don't know. Dana Mason, what's going on? What's going on? So anyway, I'm like, well, hopefully it'll kind of just grow out evenly. And of course, I was like due to get a pedicure. I only get a pedicure like 4 times a year, and I kind of do them myself in between. But every once in a while, I'm like, I need a professional to take over. So, and I haven't been running, but I've still been walking on the treadmill. So I don't have like runner's toes anymore because with my arthritis, I haven't been running. So I don't have that same, like my toes never popped off. My toenails never popped off, even when I was like, I've been an avid runner for a long time until recently because of my arthritis, because I'm 95. But, but I would get like, when I would go to get a pedicure, they'd be like, oh, are you okay? And I'd look down and my toes would be purple, like my toenails, because they're bruised, but they didn't hurt and they never fell off. But so Mike was like, when I cracked this and was having him look at it, he's like, didn't you ever get runner's toe? And I'm like, they never fell off. They would get cranky, but they never fell off. They just looked like I had dropped books on them, but nothing ever happened. So, and I have really tiny toenails. I have like really tiny toes and really tiny toenails. So it's a whole thing, guys. It's a whole thing. No flip-flops here, venomous snakes. Yeah, we have those here too, but in the areas that I'm usually like if I'm going out to the creek or if I'm going out to the back pasture, I'm 100% putting on my, I don't care if it's, 110% humidity and 100 degrees outside, I'm putting on my tall muck boots. But if I'm like right out the back door or just running to the coop real quick, like it's all mowed right there. There's nothing that like is going to get me. I mean, I don't want to borrow trouble, but you know what I mean? Like I'm relatively safe, you know. Um, Mike got ate up by chiggers the other day, and Frankie got a tick. And like, for some reason, knock on wood, the mosquitoes love me, but ticks and chiggers leave me alone. I did start putting, this was something I had seen last year, of putting like vanilla in your body oil or your lotion that you use. That's like, doesn't really, have a scent, and you put like real vanilla extract in it. And I'm telling you what, the only day that I got mosquito bites was the day that I didn't wear it. And I'm outside in the early morning, I'm outside in the evening, and like I have not got bit at all. So I'm just saying. I got my new AC installed today, of course. It's been cool the past week. I know we've had rain and all the stuff here too. Uncle Arthur cream? Author cream? I've never heard of that, Dana. You can't wear those toe thong things. I know some people don't like those kinds of sandals, but again, I think it's a California thing. I grew up in flip-flops. That's just the standard for like I don't like to wear closed-in shoes if I don't have to. I will always choose an open-toed shoe. But Sid, after watching our last video, we might need Frankie to help us out with some critters. 100%. 100%. I don't know what kind of critters you got going on in your yard right now. But yeah, we can get those taken care of for you. I don't know what that is. Uncle Arthur cream? Never heard of it. Author cream? When Chris and I first got together, I wore flip-flops all the time, even in the snow. Not now. I know. I still like I'll wear it like obviously the weather is a little more extreme out here than where I grew up. So, and not that it didn't get cold, but like the typical California wintertime outfit was cut-off shorts, flip-flops, and like a sweatshirt. And then if it was really cold, you wore your Uggs with your cut-off shorts and a sweatshirt. But out here it's like too cold. So you can't. You can't do it. Hold on. My daughter's texting me some ridiculousness right now. What is she telling me? Dad said we can go in my room. Okay. Roger that. As long as Daddy said. Because I don't care. She's got it. Her boyfriend's over right now, and obviously I'm in the living room doing the live, and they just got back from church. And the normal rule is that they're not allowed in her bedroom. But obviously they're hanging out right now. It's Trey's birthday today, and so he was nice enough to spend most of his birthday helping with giving to others and doing the pantry box, which I think is very nice because there's not a lot of 17-year-old boys that would be like, I want to help do pantry boxes on my birthday, on his day off from work. So anyway, so they're literally right here with the door open, but the rule is they're not allowed in there. So that was, her dad said it's fine because they were like hiding outside because I'm taking up, like they can't really hang out in the dining room because they'd have to be super quiet and all the things. So hey Sid, sorry I'm late. I was outside checking my 6 new baby chicks. Does Frankie still smell like a skunk? No. However, that area under the oak tree still smells faintly of it. It stunk real bad outside, and the inside of the house smelled faintly for like a day, and then like it kind of dissipated. But it's a strong, like I grew up on a canyon in California, so like the smell of skunk was like a constant smell. Like you always smelled it outside because your dog was always getting sprayed, the neighbor's dog was always getting, I mean, those skunks would spray for everything. Out here, I feel like they don't spray as much. Like you can run across one and it won't spray you. But they, a lot of times when you send them to meet the skunk Jesus, they, even if you get a headshot, they'll still release their stank. And they released their stank. You put it in what? I don't know. What did I put it in? I don't know. I missed something. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Yeah, except skunks right out my back door. Yeah. But they can't really like hurt me. They're not like, you know, they're not like they're not, they don't definitely like I mean, they don't like chase you down. They usually run away from you. They're not like aggressive. I guess that's what I'm looking for. But oh, arthritis cream. Okay. I've got some horse liniment that I use on my hip and on my back when my arthritis gets bad. So I can throw that on my leg and knee too. That stuff works pretty good. If it's good enough for Beulah, it's good enough for me. So you all will see in the next video. Uh-oh. Oh no. And you don't even have any animals yet to be worried about critters, but it sounds like they're eating up your garden. That's not good. I know Mike just went and put electric fencing around all the sunflowers and the stuff he planted out there because they were going through and like grazing the tops of everything. So yeah. He also said he was like, what were y'all talking about the other day when my phone was blown up? Because he doesn't check his phone. Like, and he doesn't check, especially if it's a group text. He will not look at it. I don't know what it is. He just won't participate. So anyway, I filled him in on what the gist of the messages were. So he got the replay, but he does not, he doesn't check his phone. The only group message that he participates in actively is the one between Mike and Frankie and myself. And that's only because when he chimes in, like if he needs something or he has a plan that we need to do something, he'll say it in there. So that's really it. Baby chicks are fun. Yes, they are. You can't keep up with the demand for eggs. Dude, I'm overflowing with eggs. I've water glassed a bunch last year, which I need to use up and redo at the end of this summer. And then I've been giving them to our neighbors, and I take them when I get my nails done. I give them to my nail gal, and like everybody gets eggs. The gal that cuts my hair gets eggs. Like everybody gets eggs. That's your tip. Those baby skunks were so cute. You could have kept one and named it Pepe Le Pew. Yeah, we were not saving any of those skunks. Those skunks went to the train station. Like, yeah. I just thought it was a skunk smelling county. No, I swear it really was. I mean, we lived on a canyon, and I can't tell you how many times when I was little, there'd be a skunk walk the back fence. It was always skunks and possums, and the dogs would corner them on the back fence and get sprayed. And one time when I was real little, we had a West Highland White Terrier, and they're an all white dog. And my dad had it in the deep sink in the garage, and one of those big jars. We used to keep one of those big cans of tomato sauce, or tomato juice rather. And he was bathing. My mom's in there bathing it with tomato juice. And it was a lot. It looked like it was like a scene from Carrie on this poor dog. Yeah, I have no desire to have pets. I mean, it was cute, but like, I don't need that. I have cats, and I have dogs, and I have other animals that make great pets. But a skunk, no. Like, you'd have to get the little scent gland thing removed. So you have to like take it in for some kind of surgery. Like, I'm sorry, it's not happening. It's not happening. Brooke Burke, what's going on? Yeah, Frankie could keep the skunk in her room with Brutus. We always say that her cat has what's that word? When you fall in love with your captor. It just went out of my head. What's that word? Stockholms. Her cat that has Stockholms. Yeah. They stink to high heavens. And they're adorable when they're little. Not so much when they're big. I don't find them cute. But when they're babies, the babies were cute. But yeah, no desire to. How many eggs do I average a day? There's a lot of days where I get a dozen. Like today was a lighter day. I think I only got about 6. But the girls were very like fakaka the last few days. I think the weather, like the rain, the heat, the cold, the rain, the heat, the cold, they kind of, and then it was really dark like all day when it stormed. And so I think it messed up their cycle a little bit. So I didn't get very many eggs today. And then I've got one Orpington who's not sitting on nothing, but keeps going broody. And I keep having to pull her out of the nesting boxes. So, you know, it's a whole thing. I have a friend who has pet skunks. They have their scent sac removed. Yeah, fun fact, skunks can spray if their back feet are off the ground. Oh, can't spray if their feet are off the ground. Oh, that's interesting. My dad brought home baby raccoons. He was a logger and killed the mama by accident. We bottle fed them, but they didn't make it. Aw. See, a raccoon I'd be okay with, like training and keeping. But like a skunk, nope. They just smell. 20 eggs. Oh my goodness. I wanted a pet skunk as a child, but Daddy said no. Yeah. Daddy said no when Frankie asked to, and so did Mama. And Trey was like, well, you should make a special room for it, and you should keep them. And we were like, that's not happening, but I fully support you doing that, Trey. Good luck. I love eggs too. In fact, I've been making a bunch of hard-boiled eggs that Mike can just kind of grab out of the fridge and eat. Frankie won't eat hard-boiled eggs. She's not a fan. She loved them when she was little, but now she doesn't really like them anymore. She only likes them if it's in tuna salad or chicken salad, then she'll eat them. But she just won't like eat a hard-boiled egg. But I love a hard-boiled egg with some Grey Poupon on it or some everything bagel seasoning. So good. Yeah. My mom had a pet raccoon. It has 3 legs. It was missing the front right leg. Oh my goodness. No skunks for me. I have to worry enough about them going into the woods. Exactly. I know. And there's nothing like your own hard-boiled eggs, like from your own chickens. It's different than like, and I don't make them, I have it down to a science when I make my hard-boiled. You know how some people like overcook my mom used to make awful hard-boiled eggs, which is why for a long time I thought I didn't like hard-boiled eggs. My mom always overcooked them to the point where they turned green in the middle, like that black green, which is like the sulfur coming out or whatever, and they would be rubbery. It's the same reason that I usually don't like pickled eggs, because people tend to overcook them when they get to the pickling stage, and then they're rubbery, and I don't like it. And so I have a system when I make my eggs are at room temperature because they're, in from the outside. And then I put them in, room temperature water, and I do 5 minutes at a time, and I increase the heat a little bit every 5 minutes until they boil. And then I turn them off. I let them sit for a couple of minutes. Then I take them off the heat. I make an ice bath. I put them in the ice bath. I let them sit for 5 minutes. And then I have an egg spoon that is basically just a small, like really small spoon. And I thwack, pro tip guys, you don't have to put anything in the water. You don't have to do anything. If you can let your eggs sit for like at least a week, it's better. If you can do 2-week-old eggs is the best, is a sweet spot. But if you flip it upside down to the fat part of the egg with the round bottom where the air sac's attached, if you thwack it with the back of the spoon, you'll hear it disconnect. You'll hear it pop before the egg cracks. Then you crack the shell and you put I have this little tiny, I don't know, it might be a cocaine spoon. I have no idea. But anyway, you stick it underneath and I can just pop it right out of the shell. And then my yolks are like buttery and still bright yellow when I cook them that way. I would say it's somewhere between, it's not soft boiled because they're done, like they're hard boiled, but they're on the lower end of it. So they're still like, if I were to pickle them, they wouldn't be rubbery. You know what I mean? Anyway, I feel very passionately about how I make my hard boiled eggs, if you can't tell. And I know some people say, oh, you do this, or you put them in the boiling water and then you just boil them for 5 minutes. I'm telling you, because you're going to have busted eggs. If you slowly increase it and it's usually about 15 minutes. It's like 5 minutes up it, 5 minutes up it, 5 minutes up it, and then it'll boil, and then you take it off. I'm just saying. Deviled eggs are good too if they are made the right way. That's true. That's true. I do like deviled eggs. It's one of those things like, oh, would you like to have an egg? And somebody will be like, no. Would you like a deviled egg? Yes, I'll take 47 of them. It's just like Oh, would you like 47 tortillas? No, but I'll eat 14 baskets of tortillas that you've cut up into little strips and like deep fried. Sign me up. I don't know. Like I tap the fat part off the F of the counter before I boil them, makes the shell come right off. Yeah, exactly. I do it after I cook them, but yeah. A lot of people, I do have one of those things where I did. I think I got rid of it before we moved because I never used it. It was kind of like a gadget that my mom got, but it was supposed to like steam them like that. And I love a poached egg. I'm a big fan. I do love a good poached egg in an Instapot. Yeah, I do it the old-fashioned way. There's a lot of things like I'll make rice. Like I do make rice a lot in the rice cooker, but if I'm making like Spanish rice or risotto, or I'm going to be making any kind of special rice, obviously I'll do it old school, um, and make it that way. So I'll have to try that trick. I always have problems peeling. I'm telling you, get yourself a little tiny spoon. That's the key. And then you got to thwack the back of it. I'm telling you, and also it matters how you cook it. I'm telling you, the 5, put it in room temperature water, room temperature eggs, and room temperature water. And slowly up the heat. Like when I used to have a gas stove, I would just crank it a little bit. On the electric, I go up to like, I do like a simmer, and then I go to like medium, and then I go to high medium. And usually by the end of high medium, it's starting to boil. And I might have to crank it up a little bit more depending on how many eggs I'm doing and which pot I'm using. And then turn it off. And I'm telling you, every time it's amazing. And then you just thwack the back where the air sac is connected. And you got to get a feel for it because some people do it too hard off the bat. You just kind of tap it gently and it's like thunk, 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 thwack, and it'll pop. And then you can just get your little cocaine spoon in there and just separate it. And it comes right off, I'm telling you. Yeah, I put them in an ice bath for sure before I peel them. Yeah, definitely want to get them cooled down for a while first. I don't usually set a timer for that part, but I usually like I'll walk away and go vacuum or go do something and then come back and do it. So yeah, just almost dropped my water. And I still screw it up occasionally because I'm not paying attention and I stab the egg or something. But for the most part, they come out good. So I'm telling you. Charlene Grady, what's going on? Carl Lewis, the man with the plan. Yeah, I've never tried steaming the eggs though. I've heard some people talk about that. And then I know a lot of people do them in the Instapot. Some people do them in the oven, which that seems brave. I've done the thing where you like make the eggs in the muffin cups, like you crack it and do like a fried egg that way when you're trying to do a lot of them for sandwiches or something. Um, and then I've made like little quiche egg cups in those things too. And those are great because I'll make a big batch of those and then I'll freeze a bunch of them, like lay them flat in Ziploc bags and freeze them and then just pull them out when you need them. And you've got, your veggies in there. And if you want cheese in it, and some people will add milk, I'll do it both ways depending on what I'm making it for. Sometimes I try to make like a healthier version. You could add, what do you call it? Cottage cheese or Greek yogurt to it too and do it, all the things. Circle J Homestead, hello. What's going on? Yeah, there's definitely a skill to it. Like making, and everybody has their own way that they hard boiled eggs. I've noticed too. Like some people dive right in but like it's also different when it's store bought eggs versus your own eggs. You do have to let them sit. If you try to do eggs that are too fresh, you really have to baby them a lot more than if you wait and let them be a little bit older. I make a small hole in the top and bottom of the egg and blow it out if I'm the one eating it. Yeah, I've seen that too. I've tried that and I'm like, this is for the birds. I'm not a fan of that. So I don't do it that way, but I have seen it done and I couldn't really get it to work. So I'm like, I just need my little weird spoon and my thwack, 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 and I can peel it right out usually and with no real issues usually. But I actually have my big mistake that I made, guys. So if you guys remember when we were getting our meat birds, The second batch of meat birds was set to come while we were having like a terrible week of storms and tornadoes. And there was ice and there was this and there was that. There was all kinds of stuff going on. I don't even remember, but there was like all the storms. And so they were like, look, we're not going to ship out birds this week. We may not even ship out birds next week. Like, we'll circle back to this. And so when they sent the next batch, it was like 3 weeks later. So I was basically off kilter from my schedule, essentially. I think that was the first batch. Was it? I have to go back and look. I can't remember now. But anyway, it meant that the second batch, I couldn't adjust it because they didn't have any available to still space them out evenly. I was going to have to get 2 batches of 50 back to back to do a total of 150. So I talked to Mike about it and I was like, look, here's the deal. This is what's happening. I can't make this make sense right now because we're going to be gone for the meetup. I can't have, birds past this date because it's going to be too hot and then we're going to be struggling and we might lose some. And so let's just do the 2 this year. So we were like, cool. Well, in the midst of all that, I was also trying to get some more laying hens. I had tried to get some silkies. They didn't have any for any of the dates that I was having birds shipped because, you got to meet the minimum and all that stuff. And then Mike had said, go ahead and get some runner ducks because he knew I still wanted ducks, but we were trying to get ducks that wouldn't get into the garden. So I had gotten the runner ducks, and in the midst of trying to set all these orders and do all of these things, at some point I made an order and didn't realize that I still had an existing order for this date in June and ordered these other ducks and that we already got. And then I got a notification that I had a successful billing for this assortment of ducks. And I was like, oh, whoops. So, however, it's actually a mistake that works out in my favor because what happened was I didn't have enough room in the brooder. Because we didn't get all the birds done, because we had the plucker issue, because then we were out of town, then the weather was bad. I didn't get the birds done, and I forgot to get ice. I just realized that. Hot diggity dog. Dang it. I was supposed to get ice before I came back home, and I totally forgot because we're doing birds tomorrow. Shoot. That's a bummer. Anyway, I might see if the kids can go get ice. Anyway, long story short, we ended up not getting them processed in the time frame that I was hoping we would. I was hoping they would all be in winter camp by now. So Frankie and I are going to process the rest of the ones that are in the pasture tomorrow, and then I can move all the ones that are in the brooder out to the pasture into the chicken tractor. I can clean out the brooder, and I can, when the runner ducks come in like 2 weeks, we'll have, hopefully, Mike says, oh, we should be able to do the floors, which is great because then I can put sand down for the ducks and not have to worry about the bedding, because the bedding with the ducks in there is a nightmare. And I can leave them in there longer because they were a little bit too small, not small in size, not small in any other way, but they were able to, which this is my beef with poultry netting, is they make it just big enough that chicks can still walk through it. And they do the gradient sizes. And I'm like, why? Because the birds can still get through that when they're younger, even though they're too big for the brooder. So anyway, these runner ducks got spooked because they're kind of flighty, and they like ran out into the thing, and I crowd them in several times, but then at some point they still got back out and disappeared. And so something ate them. So that's fun. So I was like, well, now I have no runner ducks. So we're starting over with the runner ducks, which is a bummer, but it is what it is. So I do have more runner ducks coming, and these ones will be different colors because they're assorted colors. So there's some like fawn colored ones and chocolate and black and whatever other colors they have in there they happen to send me. So this way I'll be able to leave them in the brooder longer until they're big and can't walk through the poultry netting, and then hopefully everything will be kosher. So, we call that chicken and duck math. That's right, Neil. We do. Yeah. Been here since 6, but was driving. No worries, Circle J. No worries. They are so fun to watch, and they move in like a herd, which is so adorable. And anyway, so got to get the brooder situated, and I'll get it cleaned out. And then I have one gosling, which I was going to post it yesterday, and the day got away from me, and I did not post it on for sale, but I need to do that. Because I need to get that one out. And it's a cross between a Sebastopol and Roderick, the Roman tufted. He got friendly with my girls, and his cloaca juice won. Well, he doesn't have cloaca juice. They actually have peonies. So his little pasta squiggly made contact. And so anyway, next year at breeding season, I'm gonna have to put him in with the sheep earlier to prevent that. Now that he apparently has one of them that he really likes, which is fine. And then that way, my Sebastopol male Benedict can be the daddy. We won't have to consult Maury and wait for hatching because it has a little poof. So that's how you can tell. But anyway, but the new ewes are doing great. I've already made progress with them. I've made progress with the ones from a few weeks ago that we got. They've definitely been slower to warm up to me. We're making progress. So we have of the new ones, we had out of the first batch that were market lands, we lost the 3. So we've got Elk Cow, who was a little more standoffish, but now I can do anything to her and she's fine. Bernice from accounting, who will not leave me alone. Homegirl is up my butt. If I'm near that pen, she's yelling at me. If I'm in there, she's up my butt. But I love her. She's adorable. And she's a little bit darker than Sai is. They're kind of like a caramel color. So I think they're gonna have some cute babies. And then I got the first round that I got from Cody from Reinhardt Farms. I got Zoe from Research and Development. And she has a couple little freckles on her nose. Super cute. And then I got who else was in that first? Oh, Barbara Jean was in that first batch. She's built like a ram. Homegirl is stout. And she has warmed up to me some, but she's still kind of skittish. But I can touch her as long as she doesn't realize I'm touching her. Like, and then she kind of side eyes me for a while when she realizes I'm touching her. And then this last round, and she's, Barbara Jean is she's the secretary. Then we have, or what do they call them now? They call them not secretaries. What do they call it? Your assistant, your executive assistant. That's what she is, executive assistant. Then we have the 3 new girls that are all from the sales team. So we have Eloise. She has little freckles on her nose. We have Mabel, who's kind of a mix between like white and caramel. And then who did I say? I said Eloise already. Yeah, so Eloise, Mabel, and then we have Matilda. And she is all white with the cutest little pink nose, and she's terrified of her own shadow. So they're fine. Like once I realize, like I will, because I have a new, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a fetish because that's weird. That has sort of like a sexual connotation, but like it's definitely my new favorite thing is to help them pull out their wool because they have, their hair sheep, so they shed. But there's something really gratifying about just like running your fingers through it and like getting chunks of it out and like just balling it up and then throwing it for the birds to like make a mess out of. It's like it's an illness. And so anyway, like, and they love it because it feels good, right? But then when they realize, they're like, no, I should be terrified. And then they try to run away, but then they come right back. So we're getting there. We're getting there. But I molest them daily with all of that. And then and Sai, of course, I rub him down. His hair is not coming out. And poor baby, he's gonna overheat. I'm like, I might have to shear him this first go around because he is like, he's a big boy. Are all of these names from people you have worked with? Would be awkward if they watched your channel. No, they're just like, when I look at their little faces, I'm just like, oh, that's your name. And Elk Cow, the only reason she's named Elk Cow is because she looks like an elk in a sheep's body. I don't know how else to explain it. She looks like a female elk. So she's Elk Cow. And I don't know why, but it fits her. And everybody else is either part of marketing or sales or research and development. You know, we lost Sandy from HR. So there is a position open in HR. I will eventually need to fill that position. But right now, you know, we're flying blind and we're hoping nobody's grabbing anybody's hooves or rumps, uh, you know, because we don't have an HR department right now. So there's that. Um, but yeah, so that's where we're at with them, and they're doing great. And actually, I moved. So I've been working with Kusi, which is our male livestock guardian dog. I've been taking him up to the top paddock where the babies are, basically in that catch pen, which is like our holding pen. And it's not really a catch pen, it's like a holding pen. And the catch pen, usually you have a chute, and this doesn't have a chute. We got to do it. We got to take them the long way. I don't have a chute or even a gate in between the paddocks yet. That's a problem for another day. Anyway, I digress. So he is going to have me admitted. So initially I named the first couple just because so I could tell them apart. And then it was just like, well, these are the ones that are going to be breeders. So I need to have names for them so I can differentiate them while we just have a few until we get our own tags. So like I did get our suffix or prefix rather, suffix. Did get our prefix for our tags. So I did get SIP, SIP. So, you know, 3 Mississippi, we got SIP. So I was excited about that. So their tags will all say SIP and then whatever number they are when they're registered. And because most of ours, all but Elk, Cow, and Bernice are registered or going to be registered. So yeah, so there's that. And then anyway, so I took Kusi, and I've been bringing him up into the used paddock on a leash, and he'll follow me anywhere. Like I can get Kusi to do anything. Tashka does not like changing paddocks. It gives her anxiety. She'll come out to eat. She'll cross that gate to eat now. But like in the beginning when I was feeding them in that spot, she was like, that was a struggle bus for her. So anyway, so I took him up there and I had like a little chain thing that I clipped him to with his leash so that he could like stay calm, watch the lambs, whatever. We did that a few times. And then I would walk him around the perimeter and make him do his, you know, okay, we're going to work, follow. And then I would be like, hold. And he knows he has to like wait for me. And then like we go and do the whole thing. So then I tried taking him off the leash and we did the same thing, and to make sure he didn't get like too excited with the lambs and that the lambs weren't too nervous around him, because if they start running and he's excited and there's not, you know, he's not trained that these are now yours, you know. Anyway, so we've been doing that. And then yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday I moved him into their paddock. And he did great. He's been in there with them all day. They're getting along with him. He's getting along with them. No issues. Bernice, of course, had to go right up to him and like smell his butt and all that, because that's what she does. And when I took him out to feed him this morning, he did start trotting back down to the lower paddock. And I was like, no, sir, come here. And he was like, oh, okay. And he came back. But, you know, he went and said hey to everybody real quick. Not that they can't see each other through the fence, but they won't always be that way. Like they won't always be able to see each other, because Nash will stay with them in the top paddock and then they'll be, you know, down in the lower pastures. So we'll see. Hello, Vladimir. Hello. Can't wait to see all these wonderful videos of Freedom Weekend. It was fun watching them last year. Put Mike from DD5 in a bubble. No kidding, Leonard Mountain. Yeah. Luckily, Tim's property, while it is on a ridge, he's flattened most of it, I feel like. So there are a lot of areas, though, if you go down, there's a lot of like drops and crevices. So if we can keep him on the main part that's like cleared, which we won't be able. Who am I fooling? He's going to be off in the ditches and doing the things and riding one of the e-bikes off a cliff. It's inevitable. So yeah, but it's always a good time, and it's just kind of a chance for everybody to sort of like get together and unwind and like hang out and see some of the people that we don't get to see very often, because you know, there's a cluster of y'all that live like right there in Mississippi, right there in Arkansas, but like, you know, Tim and us and some of the folks in Oklahoma, it's a little bit farther for them, to just be able to see each other as often, So, um, do I use the chalk method on the mail to know when he has done his business? We will. Yes. I will be doing that. That blew Mike's mind, by the way, because he was like, "Well, we're gonna have to. How are we gonna know when he's done it? Like we're gonna have to put them each in a separate pen and then like watch them." And I was like, I looked at him funny, and I was like, "No, babe, we mark them, and then we look to see who has blue or red or whatever on them, and then we know that they mounted them." Um, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know about that." So I said, yeah. So anyway, um, so yeah, we'll definitely do that method. And then, like if you get down to it and there's one that he hasn't, then we'll put them together for a little bit and see if he does the deed, if he can convince her, if there's any issues like that, um, and kind of try to monitor them that way, I guess. Shiloh Acre says, "OMG, Sid, my daughter walked in when you said you were when you were talking the sheep and asked what kind of business is this." I know, right? Yeah, so I just like to give them unique names. All my animals have unique names, I feel like. Like my Sebastopol geese, and then my Roman tufted Roderick. He's a Roderick. That's just his name. That was when I looked at him, I was like, "Your name is Roderick." But we have Evelyn, and we have Millie, and so we it's just, oh, and Benedict, of course, my boy. But they just, they have like, I picture them having like old English names, kind of like that's why they have their names. Um, but yeah, I like to give animals real names. I don't like to give animals like fluffy, it's just not my jam. So yeah, but I like to give them unique names. So Mike and Lissa's anniversary, they're having date night, so probably not going live. Oh, that's funny. It's my friends Beth and Ryan's anniversary is tonight too. So, and it's Trey's birthday. It's a big day today, I'm telling you. You love those names? Thank you. Thank you. I do like them. I do have a goat named Anne. That's true. I have it's old Dan and little Anne, because when those goats were born, Frankie was reading Where the Red Fern Grows. And so she was like, "I want to name the babies." And I was like, "Okay, what are we naming them?" And she's like, "Old Dan and little Ann." And I was like, "Okay." So obviously we just call them Dan and Ann. And then Caroline is Sweet Caroline. And her boyfriend that we had, the buck, that was Neil Diamond. And we had Neil Diamond and Sweet Caroline. And then I had my two sheep that I was going to try to breed together before I sold them and we moved, was Neville and Linda Ronstadt. So we had Linda and Neville was like after Aaron Neville. So because they used to be boyfriend, girlfriend, if you know, you know. So that's how, I don't know. And then I used to name the pigs according to like different shows, and then I would transfer it over. So like we went from like True Blood, and I would end on Suki. And then from Suki, we would go to like Luke and Lorelai and whatever from Gilmore Girls. So I would always have a transition, so I knew what like order we had just gone in and like which batch of pigs was which batch. It made sense in my brain. Everybody else thought I was crazy.
Bacon, ham.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah. All the things. Ugh. Now I'm sitting on the cold spot. You get the warm spot.
Oh, thanks for warming it up.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. I can't see. There we go.
That's
my bad.
Thing got out of focus for a minute. But it's all good.
Yeah, she does have the coolest names for animals, though.
Wow.
I refuse to call them by their name.
I know.
What's up, Neil?
He does. And I did, we named our kid. We did good. I feel like. Some people don't, but I feel like we did.
She hates it.
She does not hate her name.
Yeah, she does.
No, she does not.
Frankie, how you like your name?
They fell asleep.
Sure about that? About zero chance of that.
Those two are narcoleptic. They can be in here watching a movie and I walk out and she's snoring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, she's my kid.
Oh, the Williamsons in the hacienda.
He is in the house.
Y'all probably been here. I have not been
here. Yeah, he's not been here.
My bad. I was out in the shop watering some plants that need to go in the garden bad. and
I forgot
Frankie
to
and
get
her
ice.
boyfriend pulled up, and I realized I now had labor. So I hijacked them to help me move some stuff in the shop, and then I let them go while I finished. But
I forgot to get
Tim
ice.
Mason, that's gonna be a pro
I know. So I'm gonna have to go back out and get ice.
tonight.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna do it in the morning. Which sucks because I was already in town and now I have to go to DG and get a bunch of ice.
Mm-hmm.
Just mad at myself. I should have done it the first trip into town, but I had to pee and I wanted to get home. So I didn't stop for ice the first trip into town.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Thank you, Hardneck Farms. You have a good night.
Yeah, Leonard Mountain Home. No, not Leonard Mountain Homes. Leonard Mountain Homestead.
There you go.
What's going on?
He's like,
What's
oh, I
going
can't
on?
talk.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm ready for a few more days of no rain. We had some sunshine today. I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's coming.
Golly.
It's coming tonight at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then stops during the day. And then
I need. I mean, I hate like wishing it would stop raining, right? Because in 2 months we're gonna be praying for rain. But golly, the rain's a problem right now.
Yeah. My cucumbers crapped the bed this year. All flowers, but no fruit. All hat, no cattle.
Well, hey, listen. As long as you're still getting flowers, there's still a chance. So they'll keep flowering until they figure it out. And it could be, I don't know your environment. It could be a lack of pollinators. Obviously, it's not going to make fruit unless it gets pollinated. It could be, a lot of times what makes flowers drop off is heat. But more often than not, if you get a lot of flowers, but you don't get a lot of fruit, you might just be hurting for pollinators. So, what?
She's just over there like,
would you guys hurry up and get off my couch?
Basically, I know she's giving me the stink eye, but she's cute.
Yeah, this rain has been too much. Everything is just still so wet. I have an area in the pasture that like encroaches up on the chicken coop that is, I mean,
it's overgrown,
and
we can't do anything about it because it's too wet, and it
too
has
wet
to be
get the tractor in
bush
there.
hogged.
Yeah,
you can't mow it.
Right. Yeah, you got to be able to drive a tractor through it. Bush hog.
Like grew up. Like the weekend we were gone for the meetup, it went, and then it was raining.
Right. It's been too wet to get a tractor in there since. And it's on a hill, so
yeah, it's a whole thing.
It would be I would
and there's
tear
a
it up.
ditch right there.
I would tear it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't like crash the tractor or anything, but I would destroy the ground. So
which we don't want to do.
Right.
But we would like to give it a haircut.
I'd like to cut it down low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's aggressively a lot. I know we are sitting on the dog's bed. Well, Lundy's in the window, like draped in the in the bay window across the rabbit skins.
Yeah, she's just like living her best life right now.
And then this one literally has her eyes. I have to show them. Let's see if I can. She has her eyes rolled back in her head, or she did. Now she's looking at me because she knows I'm talking about her. But she puts all these pillows together. She digs them up under herself and then like makes herself a nest to lay on. And she has to get as many pillows as she can to lay on every time. She gets that from me, probably. I would sleep with all the pillows if I could.
Yeah.
But I still end up just sleeping on the mattress. I don't like. Well, I sleep on the one pillow, but all the other pillows are just like.
I don't know. Sorry.
Cushions. Yeah. Basically.
I don't really pay attention to how you sleep. When I go to bed.
Oh, you lay down, and 2 seconds later, I hear the snoring start.
You've been snoring lately.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You're lying.
Nope.
Really?
Yep.
Like loud?
No.
My have been congested the last few days, and I have had headaches.
Not loud, definitely, but you've been snoring. I woke up a few times, and I'm like, she's snoring. A little role reversal here.
Yeah, that's weird. I never snore.
Did I burn the ditch? I tried. So I had too much like
It's too
large,
wet.
yeah, I had too much large logs, and they were just water soaked, not enough small stuff. So I started a fire. It burned for a few minutes, didn't get its job done, burned out. So
Oh, well, that was actually, so where Mike from DD5 fell, that was at the culvert. And he basically stepped off the road that is that into the culvert itself, like the ditch part.
that's actually not what happened.
Well, okay, whatever.
But that's where he crashed.
That's where he crashed. But this is up right behind the chicken coop. There's this like natural little weird ditch, and we've been putting like stuff in it to burn it out. Like when we clear brush and when we like cut limbs down, we've been sticking it there. But
and now it's basically just a den for critters.
Yeah.
Filled with logs and brush.
Right behind my chicken coop.
Right behind the chicken
not
coop.
working out well for me.
And
right
it won't
now.
burn.
Yeah, because it's too wet.
So, and I put some diesel on it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Cuckoo Knievel, I have some cures for snoring. Is that Mike? I did not know he was such a good-looking son of a gun.
Oh yeah, that's me.
That's him. I guess I'm like your dog. I have 6 pillows on my bed, but I need them for support for my back or I can't move in the morning. Yeah, I feel that.
Jennifer Aniston.
I don't think I look like Jennifer Aniston. Maybe. Is that a good thing? I don't know.
Well, nobody wants to look like anybody. It's just a comparison of beauty.
Oh, okay.
People would consider her beautiful.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Except for that person that threw oil on her.
No, that was when she was filming something. That was part of the script.
Was it?
Yes, but the tabloids took it out and they put reels of it like she had been attacked. But that's not what happened.
Okay. Well,
it was part of whatever show she was filming for Apple TV or whatever.
Wow.
I know all the things.
Apparently you do.
And apparently I didn't know that I snored.
You don't snore regularly that I know of. I sleep pretty hard, so I wouldn't know if you did most of the time.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean.
It's probably because I can't clench my teeth with my mouth guard now, like I was. So I'm sleeping with my mouth wide open, probably.
Maybe.
It's making me snore, but at least I'm not waking up with a headache from clenching my teeth together so hard that I can't turn my head in the morning. So there's that.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't either. You'll just have to deal with it. You can't hear it anyway, so I guess it's not too bad.
I mean, I wasn't complaining. It was just an observation since snoring came up. But like I noticed it a couple times.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me. I didn't like have to.
You better. There's so many times that I want to smack you and I don't, and I just put my earbud louder in my ear.
I can tell when you do that because I'll wake up and I'll see like shadows on the wall, and I'll like go into defensive mode, and I'm like, and I'll pop up like thinking that like somebody came in the room
in your
or
mind,
something's
you
up,
popped
right?
up, but you didn't pop up. You probably just opened your mouth.
Well, I mean, maybe not popped all the way up, but I like mentally pop too, and then I'll realize, oh, she's watching her phone, and it's reflecting up onto the other side of the room because I usually lay with my back to her, facing the other way, you know, and so I'm looking at this wall over here, and when my eyes open up, all of a sudden I see a little bit of just, you know, when you're discombobulated, when you just wake up and it's dark in the room, if there's a little bit of motion, a little bit of something going on, you're like, no, here we go, it's on. And then I realize she's watching her phone, but there's no sound because she's wearing these.
Well, because you complain that it keeps you up. So I put my earbuds in so that it helps, but I can only wear one at a time because if I wear both, it makes me feel like I'm under attack. So I have to put one in and then I sleep on the other side, and it helps drown out his snoring. And because I'm kind of a light sleeper to a degree, and I wake up a lot at night for different reasons.
Right. Am I seeing any deer yet this year? I mean, holy cow, yeah. There's deer everywhere. In fact, I just, you know, we can't and don't film everything we do around here because sometimes.
Oh, I'm glad. Thank you, Chris and Amy. Have a good night.
Sometimes we just got to get work done, you know. But I have a sunflower plot over on Silver that was just getting hammered.
Oh yeah, I told them that.
And so Frankie and I went over and set up some electric fence around it the other day, and put a couple of trail cameras up on it. So hopefully we'll see what's going on over there. But
Yeah.
this time of year, you can't tell really bucks or does. They've shed their antlers in spring, and they really, I mean, I don't think we're really going to be starting to see any antler growth for another month.
You know how you can tell? There's,
You know how you can tell she's about to tell a bad joke? First thing that happens is she runs through the punchline in her mind, and then she starts laughing at the punchline, and then she can't tell the joke. She's no, the best joke in the world.
What's the cheapest thing? Wait, crap.
Yeah, crap's pretty cheap.
What's the cheapest thing from the butcher? No, that's not it. Crap. What's the cheapest thing from the butcher?
I already know this because
deer balls, because they're under a buck.
She thinks she's hilarious. Oh boy.
Bless.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't run your boyfriend over with a tractor. We'll have to take him to the train station.
I know. Somebody said, maybe it was you who said I need to put it on a t-shirt. And I'm like, that's kind of funny. Oh, bless. It is 7. You're right. Our time's up.
Yeah, I got to go back out of the shop and get back to work.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate you. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your night. In before the end. That's right, Patrick. Better late than
Patrick
never.
Travis.
Patrick Travis.
His name is Patrick Travis.
That's right. Patrick Travis.
Yeah.
We shall always remember. Have a good night, you guys. As always, stay blessed and remember.
Safety's off.
Hot mic, hot mic.
That's me.
Let's see.
I got the dad bod rocking.
Oh, bless. Oh, bless.